Kudala ndizulazula ndicinga lona uthando lwangempela. I've been searching up and down into deep waters of swim, searching for the only one.
So what happens when people go to SA or the diaspora or whatever is that all of a sudden they feel like they're cool, right? So their country is not cool enough for them. That's what I think. So until in them you start getting MTV and things like that, you'll see them coming to you. And for me, that says a lot about the person and their characters. I see a lot of Zimbabweans who don't even say they're from Zimbabwe. So much that I've been asked, I'm not going to name drop, but I've been asked before, I remember first arriving in Joburg, walking in town, one of my friends saying, hi, this is how I speak, even when I'm in SA. So I don't know how to even change the accent, or that's not who I am, you know. So that's my visa. So number one, it's because there's this idea, which is false, that when people think you're from Zim, you bazokhetha, or you're not going to make it, or uzothwalo unjanjan bazokhangelela phansi. To the country, it's the opposite, right? Let me tell you what happens when I walk into rooms. People say, wow, you're so well spoken. The moment I say hello, where are you from? That's what I get asked. The first time it happened. So when I finished my A-levels and I went to SA, my family is based in Cape Town. So I was in Cape Town, and because our results come late, so I was forced to take a gap year. And my sister had just had a baby, so I'm babysitting for her, etc. And she worked at a restaurant. And she said, oh, you know what? You can pick up a few shifts if you want to, so that you can make extra money while you wait to go to university, because it's called Ancillar Nombewu. So I'm like, cool. So I would go maybe once a week to pick up shifts and try to learn, etc. It's terrible, but I really try to learn. And every single time I'll get to a table and I say, good afternoon, whether it's a foreigner or it's mostly white people, it's Cape Town, it's more white than anything else. Every single time they'll say, where are you from? And they wanted to know more about me, talk to me more than they did the other South African waitresses who were there. And it's because I was me. And they understand, guys, we are smart. When I walk into rooms, people say, you guys are so intelligent. So when I walk into a room, especially in the spaces that I go into, my day-to-day life is sitting with billionaires, interviewing them. That's my space. That's what I do every single day. And when I walk in, before they think, oh, she's a woman, because sexism is there, it's real, I face it every day. But when they hear that I'm from Zim, already there's a notch of respect, because they automatically assume that I'm smart and I'm going to put them in their place. So we don't embrace that. It goes back to what I said when we started this conversation. Embrace whatever it is that you are. So I've embraced it. I get celebrated so much that a lot of my awards are written in South Africa. Sometimes I have to turn them back, and I don't know how many times I need to say I'm from Zim. My CNN award is even written in South Africa, and every time South Africans, oh yeah, but you've been here for so long, you're married to a South African, you're South African. Now they want to own me instead of the other way around. I didn't try to be South African. I just did what I'm doing, and then now they want to own me. So you have to do that. If you see abantu bangafihla kakhulu, in my opinion, abantu babona abafihla bahlala emakhetheni na. Kodwa bayasifihla. Ukuthi ngahamba ukhuluma ngesidebele sakho uzothola ukuthi ingxenye kulabantu abafuna i-translator. Ama-opportunities uzothola ukuthi awachiya amaningi, ingxenye omafezi bafuna ukuncedisa, ingxenye amajele. You know, so many of those opportunities that you don't even know exist because they are speaker. I sat there and spoke to the founding editor of Forbes Africa, and our entire conversation was about Zimbabwe and stories from Zim. If I had gone into that room and pretended to be South African, where would I be? I probably would not have been offered that job.
You have 50 million people to compete with.
Yes, I'll have so many other people. So embrace your wickedness, embrace your poverty, tell your story. Lupita Nyong'o, guys, and we all know her and we love her. She talks about growing up in rural Kenya. That's her story. Trevor Noah is riding on appetite. I don't even think he was that poor, but he's riding on the poverty. If you're that poor, Trevor, I don't know. But he's riding on it, right? he's changed the discourse and conversation about Africa in the US. He's sitting with Oprah and getting gifts from Kevin Hart and everything. Oh, I want to go to South Africa. I want to go to Africa. Because he owned being South African. Own who you are. Own it. No one else is like you. No one else is like me. So it doesn't matter. And you know, your story is what sets you apart. So maybe we talk around 15, whatever. Those are the things that you can pick up from everyone else. But there's those weird things, like my mom telling me to interview this young girl, like my parents getting a divorce. Like all those little things are the things that set me apart, that will make people want to hear more about me and hear more from me. I get asked to speak on Zoom. I get asked so many times, paid gigs. They'll pay me 20,000 rand to come and talk for 1 hour about Zimbabwe. You know.
Well,
So own yourself and who you are.
Own yourself and who you are, because no one else will own it for you. No one will tell your story. Any questions from the audience?
Before we do that,
okay. There's more you need to say.
So I always say that the worst thing is interviewing a journalist, because I'm interviewing on the other side. So there's this thing I want us to do that I like doing in rooms like this. I'm seeing a lot of people. Okay. So I'm seeing a lot of people here. So you know, you're slouching on your chairs. So there's something that Africa and sometimes that we do when we're growing up. That's a sign of lack of confidence in other spaces, right? And even the way you sit. So before we even get into questions, etc., I didn't come here just to talk about myself. For me, it's a platform to give back. I want to create a continent of billionaires. I search with them so I know how they do it, so I want everyone else to become it. And the first important thing we have to fix now before we go on with this conversation is how we sit, right? So have you ever seen how a confident man or a confident boss sits, right? They take up space. They're like, neck. That's how they sit. And then you find other fats, you know? And then we shrink ourselves. So what happens when you shrink yourself is that you make yourself smaller. Meaning that already we're like, oh, maybe she's not sure of herself, or is she going to say anything that has any value? Because, just being noticed, so we need to fix that first for whatever it is that you guys are going to want to do in your lives. Let's fix that first. So stand up, I'll show you how. Stand up with me. There's this scientist I like, she's US-based. Her name is Amy Cuddy. Any of you know Amy Cuddy? Ever heard of her? No. So Amy Cuddy found that especially in women, right? Number one, our voices are thinner than men. So I can say something in a boardroom 50 times and the men around me will not hear me. Until my male counterpart, one, catches on and says it, and then immediately, you know. So especially as women, we already start in spaces of disadvantage. We're smaller already. Our voices are lighter. We're only starting to be empowered now. So we need to do this. So Amy Cuddy came up with this thing because she's in the science field where there's a lot of men. She says that she noticed that a lot of people, we shrink ourselves, like I was saying. So I'm a daughter, what you feel cool, you're the heroes, you know, you're the saviors of our communities. Amy Cuddy said, you know what, there is Wonder Woman. So she says that before, whether you're a man or woman, if you feel some sort of inferior or you feel scared or you don't know how you're going to sound, but you want to do something and you want to ace it, I do this all the time. Do the Wonder Woman pose. Let me show you. So, this is how the Wonder Woman pose is done, right? Just open your legs a little bit, as wide as you can. Put your hands right by your hips. Chest out, chin up, head up, right? Think and imagine that you've got a cape around your shoulders, just like Superman, just like the heroes we love, right? Standing on the tallest building in the world, overlooking everyone. You're the king, right? You're there to save everyone. And then breathe in and out with me. Go in deep, out. In deep, out. One more time, in, Don't you feel different? Don't you? I promise you, even if you're nervous or there's something weird that's happening with you, stand like that. Take the space, own the space. It's your space. And imagine yourself in that space. Put your hands on the hip and say, listen, I'm here to save everyone. Everyone is here for me, not the other way around. And then breathe in and out. And when you do finally get into the room, take up space. Sit with confidence. Sit with power. Showcase that you know what you're doing. Even if you don't, guys, sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, hey, just the confidence throws people off. So own the space, right? And be confident. And when you finally sit down, especially women, like sometimes number one. When you do this, you're making yourself smaller, you're shrinking yourself. Like, how do you think about things when so when you finally do get to sit down straight, if you can do this, take up the space that you need to, sit with confidence. Yeah. Thank you.
Do you know what I loved about the end of this presentation? Is how at the end of it you sit down, but you're still commanding the space because everyone was now looking down at you and they want to continue hearing this. You continue to take the space even when you're seated. Wow, that is interesting. Guys, do you have any questions to ask Ancillar before I finish off my part off? Yes. So we'll take several questions.
Hey, I'm going to answer one.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I've got a brain of an old pregnant woman.
My name is Ndlovu-Bhebhe. I'm also a writer. I'm going probably a different field as a business consultant. So I have basically 3 questions for you. The first one is with regards to what do you think about the culture of reading in Zimbabwe? Because I don't think we actually encourage children to read and learn communication skills. The second one is your opinion on the state of journalism in Zimbabwe. And then the third one probably will be your take on the role of the digital space as we move on in journalism.
Okay, sure. Okay, culture of reading. I think that it's very important. So as much as I say own who you are, etc., sometimes naturally spaces of growth become limited if you're not well spoken enough or if your choice of diction is not up to par. So it's important to try and learn how to speak and to learn different words and say things in different ways. So there's a very few Somises who can make money from not speaking properly. Most of us, unfortunately, especially in the spaces that we're in journalism or whatever other field, you have to speak properly. So reading is very important for that. I read a lot growing up. I remember in university with Maggie, my friend, we did literature. And I don't know how many times I read those books. I would read 4, 5, 6 times the same book because I really like reading. But more than liking reading for me, I remember I knew my purpose. I need to have gone through that journey. So I knew that I needed to know how to say things differently, especially when I'm writing, how to be creative when I'm writing. And that has helped me. I've been a journalist for about 4 years now. I've got 12, I think about 12 or 13 awards, international awards. So because of that reading and trying to say things differently. So you'll find that we'll tell the same story. I'll give you an example. So a lot of people and a lot of journalists have been telling stories about Pentecostalism and how some pastors try to make money and become rich through churches, etc. Many people have written that story. I wrote it, and even because I wrote it differently and saw it in a different light and used different words, I remember my headline was "Prophets of Profit in the Business of Belief." Just because of things like that, I got 3 awards with just that one story. Yet many other people have told somewhat same story, but because it's told differently, the angle is different, the approach is different, then you're able to become above the rest. So reading is very important. Try to read as much as you can and learn different words as much as you can, especially as a writer. And then, what was the second one? The state of journalism. Yeah?
Yeah.
Phew. Oh my God.
In Zimbabwe specifically, I think.
Yeah. So it hurts. It pains me. I've tried so many times to read stories in Zim. I see good writing, but it's not journalism. Ne? It's like, not everyone. I've seen great journalism as well, but I think we have, maybe it's because of the politics, etc., but as journalists in Zim, we have sort of lost touch of the purpose of journalism and why we became journalists. A journalist is there to become a voice for the voiceless. We hold people in power to account. We ask the tough questions. It's the tough things. But I don't see it. For example, you know, small things. I was having a conversation a few days ago with some friends, and we're talking about petrol and petrol prices. And even when I look online, I can't get answers. I'm like, where is the journalism? Where is it? Someone is telling me about his baby or something. Apparently there's an old white man who's captured Zim. Like, but where is he? Why is he not being held account? As journalists, we bring people to account. We ask the hard questions. I remember I wrote an expose on Magaya, and they tried to discredit me. They wanted to kill me. I knew all of those things could happen, even though I was getting all of those kind of threats. I knew it is my job. It's my role. I chose to be a journalist, so I have to do it. We have a long way to go. I can't judge because I'm not operating in the country. I don't know what the risks are. I don't know whether the media is free or I don't know. But I've written harsher stories about Zim than Zim journalists. I have to cross the border every time to come and try and get stories and be critical. And I'm always afraid when I'm coming here. I'm like, yo, the passport they are here to stamp and I'm gonna send some time.
Do you have a Zim passport?
Yeah. It's a passport they are here to stamp and give it up and so time. But that's my job. So how do we improve our communities, and not just them, as Africa as a whole, if we don't hold people in power to account? And that's the job of a journalist. And I think we're failing our communities, we're failing our people by not doing that.
Maybe a follow-up question before you move on to his third is about the passion that you were talking about. You say on your first day in university, you went around to media houses looking for internships. For you, it was a passion, you were driven. Do you feel like journalists in Zimbabwe do it for their passion, or like many people, 15 points, or a lawyer or a doctor, it becomes the next best thing to being or to making your parents proud, or to getting a profession that is decent?
I don't know, because I think I'll be out of order to give a proper opinion on that. But what I see when I'm reading is journalism that isn't confident. You're not even in my body sent a paragraph, so you can tell how confident a person is from the even status updates on Facebook, you can tell how confident a person is. Their choice of words, how they say it, you know, how many sentences they use to say something. You can tell how sure a person is about what they're writing and all of these kind of things. And I just see writing and journalism that isn't confident enough. I just see journalism that is basically like mouthpieces. For me, it sounds like PR when I read articles from here. It's like, as journalists become, not activism, no. Activism is even better. The articles sound like sihayiwe ngabantu okumele sibakriticize ukuthi sibhale ngabo sibabonise on a good light. You know, it's like, I'm like, but what about this? Every time I read, I'm like, but what about that question? So many things are left unanswered. Even the fuel price, I'm like, okay, so then what? For example, I recently learned when I came in December, Busman or something, the garage thing. I'm like, but why is it the only garage that can sell petrol that is not mixed with ethanol? Because apparently it's illegal. So if it is, how are they able to do it? And do you get what I mean? Simple questions like that, like, so you see simple questions like that, simple things on a day-to-day like that, I question. And when journalism doesn't give me the answers to those questions, then it's a problem. If there's people who are capturing the country or the economy, we need to know who those people are and hold those people to account. And it's difficult, it's scary, and you can lose your life. All of these things are possible. That if it's your purpose to tell stories and you're in the profession for the right reasons, and that's what you were meant to do, then you'll do it. Do it under a pseudonym even. Like, I wish I could even find, we've got this Twitter handle in Exeter, Advocate Beru, is exposing stuff. I would even be happy to see a journalist who's faceless, at least again, Oba faceless, singabikwazi ukuthi ngubani uhlala ngaphi. Kodwa sibona izinto ziphuma, sibona ama-articles aphuma. At least questions are being answered and people are being held into account. And we can hold the courts into account, and a lot more things could happen. Media has power. If you see it in Esetama, it's because of the media that has stopped. Zuma or whatever. Zuma, they're in court right now. That's a whole president facing so many counts because the media holds to account. We pay taxes, we want a better life, so it's up to our government to make those things happen. And if they're not doing it, it's my job and your job, Maluleke, to do it.
Yeah, the third question.
Digital.
Yes, digital.
The digital space is amazing. I find that because it's faster, even the spaceless thing that I'm talking about is possible with the digital space. So I'll even not only speak about journalism, let me bring it to another space. So I own a PR company in SA. We find that for the things that we want to do for our clients, I even advise them not to buy ads on a magazine or to go to a TV station for advertising. Use influencer marketing, go online. Because the digital space has given us so much power and authority. In the journalism space, digitally, you can say anything. Like, how many times you can't just block everyone's Twitter page. So when we all tweet about something, for example, in this room right now, it will get to trend, right? And then when it gets to trend, journalists get to pick up on it and they write stories about it. So now, when we first started, the media relationship they were the agenda setters. They told us what they wanted us to hear. But now we can set the agenda because I can tell you, based on my tweets, based on what I'm Instagramming, based on what I'm Googling, what I'm interested in, what I want to hear more about, and where I want to go. So we now share this responsibility to be agenda setters for the news and the type of communication that we want. We should all be using a lot of online. Ask questions. I liked it when that Baba Chukwa was there because a lot of discourse and conversation happened around that. And a lot of things that people were scared to say, people were able to say. Also, I find that like, yazi nesingamakwala. Hayi, yazi ukubulala umuntu asikhondelula. Ukugwala kodwa singathi ngizobula. Awukho lula ukubulala umuntu. Awuphomba ukubulawa nje ngathi binatha amanzi. It's not that easy to kill someone. So there are more chances that you won't get killed than there are chances that you're going to get killed. So become vocal, especially as the youth. We need to use the digital space to voice our opinions because we've got rights, right? We're people, we're human beings. So we should say what we want to say, factually so, and we can be able to do that. Again, disclaimer, I don't live here. I don't know what other limitations are here. I don't understand fully the space of the limitations. But from where I'm sitting and where I stand, because I've done it before, I think it's possible.
Okay, speaking about, you talked about Ubulawa, but what about the other limitations to the digital space, especially for women, the cyberbullying, the backlash that you get for just free thinking and voicing what you think?
Yeah.
What have you experienced?
It goes back to that purpose thing, Listen, you're living your life and your purpose more well. If they are being left behind, that's their problem. That's why totally they'll catch on. So leave them. It doesn't matter. So some people say when they look at my Instagram page, for example, oh my gosh, you're so serious. And some people write to me and say, Ma, because like, oh my gosh, you carry yourself so seriously. Like, and then when they meet me, that's not the it's not. That's who I am. So it's either you like me or you don't. I'll say what I think. As long as I'm not, number one, promoting violence. I'm not promoting terrorism. I'm not trying to tell people to go kill other people. Whatever I'm doing is not affecting any other human being. It's about me and my life and my journey. It doesn't matter. So I am so blind to what people say. But if it's personal relationships, I was telling Okoli the other day that if it's people who are close to me that I don't have access to my space, I need to know who they are. I won't change how I interact with them, but I know how far I go with them. That's important. So it's very important to cleanse your space. I do this all the time. There came a point in time where I was following so many people on Instagram, for example, and I felt so much anxiety. So I'm so driven. I really just want to be rich and create billionaires, and I want to change the continent. I want us to thrive. And so there's people that I was following that would give me anxiety, maybe with the kind of things that they post. Maybe it's friends and we're not friends anymore, and I don't know why the relationship stopped. And so I went online and vetted every single thing. If I've never met you, okay, I have no business following you, because number one, people lie online. You never know what's true and what's not. So I don't want it. So I was done with that, unfollowed. And then if I've met you, but you give me some sort of anxiety, sometimes it's not even bad things, is being driven and they're succeeding a lot, that it's giving me anxiety, that I somehow start feeling like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I don't want to be in that space. Like, girl, I love you, well done, man. But because now it's about me. I'm out, because now it's about me, right? And then you'll find people where, maybe because they're famous and they're celebrities and I'm following them, but what am I getting from you? Like, good for you. I'm not judging, good for you. That's your purpose in your journey in your life. But for me and what I'm trying to build, it's something different. So why am I following you? So I just went on and unfollowed. I think I've followed 300 and something people now. And people are like, I want myself follow. And I'm like, if it's not good for my space, then it's not good enough, because I need to protect my space. I'm always working and trying to do all these things. If I don't protect my space online and personally, then I'm not going to thrive. So what you say to me, how you interact, your energy in general. Sometimes wrong or what. If just your energy make me feel some kind of way that impacts my energy, bye-bye. Because we're not working in the same direction. Maybe we'll need to meet again for me to meet you under a different space, maybe, then I'll feel differently. So that's important. Protect your spaces, protect your energy.
So everything about you is purposeful, whether on or offline.
Oh yeah,
basically.
yeah, definitely.
Wow. More questions? I'll take yours.